Ashe family, this is Divine Intuition 444. Um, I just wanted to come. This would be technically my first video to everyone. But I've been realizing and internalizing that there is a lot of communication really heavy right now. And a lot of the things that I tend to find on my own, people are literally reiterating it or giving me confirmation that this is something that needs to be talked about and it needs to be addressed, and not just addressed, but needs to be given to the masses, to everyone, the information that I stumble upon, or how I should say, my soul leads me to, because she is in direct, she is the director of this avatar. I am just taking a seat and watching it all play out. But there is one thing that I wanted to share. Conjure Queen actually put out a video which I thought was amazing. She is my sister. She is one of my soul sisters. So peace to Conjure Queen. She wrote about awakening, and she videoed about awakening and activations. I believe was kind of very reminiscent in her video, but you know, I wanted to share some things about awakening. It was the video. I think it was the video of like white preacher to Jesus or something like that. Anyways, the whole awakening is when your soul wakes up from a deep slumber, because you've put, in my case, I'm going to say she, but for some people it would be he, you put your soul in such a slumber that you're not walking in divine purpose. So your soul tends to go to sleep and it shuts down. And what happens is, because your soul shuts down, you're actually operating off of your ego. And your ego is what pretty much crumbles your divine connection between your soul and you. So we would technically be three aspects of a person. So we would be soul, spirit, and then body. So our spirit is our light, is what we're made out of from source. Our soul is actually what gets reincarnated, so we can have a soul that has an identity of, I can honestly say, an incumbence of everything. You are all and nothing. Your soul can have an identity of maybe, I don't know, 10 different reincarnations. It could be 10 different incarnations of 10 different, how can I say, 10 different, let's just say, embodiments of people that you have incarnated to. And if you're a star seed, well, be prepared, because you are an incarnation, or reincarnation, I should say, of actual seeded souls, which means that you technically embody other races, let's say extraterrestrial races. And what happens is, if you're a star seed, you end up remembering these lives eventually, which is part of the awakening process. So people who have tried to debunk the whole reincarnation process, or even the fact that reincarnation isn't, that's where they kind of fall into the whole religious aspect, because religion doesn't allow for that notion of reincarnation to happen. Religion just tells you you're here to follow rules, And if you don't follow them, you go to hell. And if you do, oh my God, you're blessed to go to heaven. But in actuality, there is a deeper, and there is a deeper hidden association with religion and with the fact that they don't want us to learn about reincarnation, because if we do, then we stop ourselves from reincarnating, which I believe is the main purpose why religion was actually implemented here in this 3D realm. Okay, so the reason why I'm saying this is because I actually just finished, well, not even finished. I actually just let my soul look, or uh, my soul allows me, or directs me, I should say, to watch certain things, to not move when I don't have to. So she's, I think that's a helicopter, maybe a plane. I stumbled upon the fact that I am from the Fae. I have a Fae lineage or a Fae connection. And upon that, I actually seem to be delving really deep into Futhark, which you guys would know as runes. And runes are very close to, well, there's two things. Runes are the first language of magic. And that's actually what I firmly believe, because it resonates so deeply on that level that my soul knows what is true and what isn't true. So she knows what resonates and what doesn't. That's just another aspect of how I know things. And not everyone is going to resonate with what I say. So in peace and in understanding and overstanding, take what resonates with you, and then, keep it moving, because how we are supposed to internalize certain things is we're supposed to listen to our soul. If our soul resonates with it, then that's a part of our truth. You see, you're not supposed to take everything to the point where everything that is given to you, you feel like it's true. Not everything works like that. I'm sorry, it's a little hot in here. Not everything works in that manner. Your soul definitely guides you to the point where you legit start to feel that it's correct. And I have a precognitive kind of clear cognizant understanding and ability that I don't even have to look things up anymore. I already know that they're true because I internalize it and I feel it. It resonates with me. The other thing is, that's where we're actually supposed to be. We're supposed to be unlocking our abilities. I'm not saying that everyone has abilities. I'm not quite sure of that yet. I have mixed emotions about that because I don't feel like everyone has a soul. So the people that have lost their soul, which we call lost souls, obviously, who have, let's say, sold their soul, that's considered a lost soul because they do not have that connection, or will have that connection to their divine self, their divine purpose, which is actually really sad when you think about it. It kind of makes me sad because we're always taught about these plentiful, bountiful gifts that we all have, like, within us, but we can't unlock them for some reason. No, we could definitely unlock them. I know I'm going off off tangent. I'm going to get back to my point, but we can unlock them if we allow ourselves to. So my point is, I guess that I just had so much more to say than I thought I did. But one of the videos that I was watching, I actually have researched this before, and I was watching, I think his name is Arthur Haggard. He is Sounds of Norse background, sorry, and he has great information. And like I said, the runes have really been speaking to me lately because that comes from the Fae lineage, and he definitely sounds like he's from Fae lineage, which is why he has so much information. And as I'm watching, and I'm an avid student as well. I'm not a master teacher. I am a teacher in certain aspects, but I am always and first and foremost an avid student. So when it comes to me knowing things, there is so much that I don't know, which we can all say there's so much that we don't know, which is why you have to internalize and discern which is what is real and what is not, what resonates with you and what is not. The things that resonate with you become your internal truth. You internalize it and it sits there because it's part of you. It's like pieces of you that you literally can feel. And you'd be like, oh my God, that's for me, or that relates to me, or man, I've noticed that before. Wow, this is actually real. We get this all the time. If you are a little more seasoned and you are more sensitive to information, then you'll understand what I'm talking about. There are a lot of things that people will tell you is true, but it's all about what resonates with you. So back to my story. I was on my avid student trip, and I was listening to a video which was called The Rise of the Witches, or The Rise of the Witch, or something like that, The Origins of the Witch. And it's so funny how I actually seem to be riding the wave. Like, Source gives me information way in advance before I actually see it in other videos. And I'm starting to realize that my source, like my connection with Source, is pretty damn close or pretty damn clear. Now, this video that I was watching, which is pretty crazy, he talks about something that I've mentioned before on someone else's platform. Yes, it's on YouTube. And I said it before. And I always felt this way, okay? Why wasn't the sun, or how come the sun couldn't be a female deity or a female energy? And just the way I always felt deep in my soul, I always felt that God was a female energy as well. Now, I've questioned this before to people. Well, there was a point where I was into religion, the Christian faith, and I've mentioned this before to other people that I was actually in congregation with, and they kind of laughed at me. And they said, well, that's just not possible because the Bible doesn't say so. Well, here's my point. Now, when I read, and this is the whole thing about staying close to Source, awakening, this is all kind of, this is all encompassing. this is all interrelated, and it's all relative because life is relative, everything is relative, and if you understand the theory of relativity, then you will understand that everything is connected. We are all interconnected. Everything is connected, and it goes beyond connection. At this point, it's everything and everyone is connected through source. So every aspect that we feel might be an aspect of us, it's because it comes from source. So source confirms or it denies if that is an aspect of you, which is why you have to have such a clear connection. And I go like this because this is the connection to source. It's through your chakras. It is through the crown. I have always been opening up and finding ways to open up my crown, my third eye. My favorite colors when I was a little girl was purple and blue. Purple and blue. I mean, you could say this is blue too, but that's not the blue color that I was looking for. The blue color is a dark indigo blue, and the purple was always a dark purple. It was always purple and blue, purple and blue. I mean, I can say a lot about that, but I won't skip that far. As far as the clear connection, okay? So I'm getting lost because it's a lot of stuff to say. But as far as my intuition, my soul was guiding me. And, I had spoken and I actually have made questions or like relative questions that people don't like to ask. I'm always that person. So some people might not like me because I tend to ask the questions that people don't dare. And it's like, well, why couldn't a woman be a preacher? Because the Bible says that a man can only be a preacher. Well, a lot of people don't understand, and now is the time to understand and overstand, okay, that the Bible was created during the uprise of the patriarchal overtaking of the world. That's exactly what it was, because I did my research, and this is actually confirmation because I was watching it today. So I did my research and I stumbled upon something which I didn't intend to, but I'm really glad I did. I actually wrote it down as well. I didn't write the date. I should have wrote the date that I had actually stumbled upon this information. But, witches are actually females who have divine spiritual connection with source. And sorry guys, the crazy thing is that women who were divinely in tune with source were able to speak from such knowing that they were called oracles, they were called seers. Oh man, like it gets deep, dude. And we were known to predict the future. Okay, that's part of like seeing. It's precognition or clairvoyance and senses. Okay, so the only reason why women were actually demonized was because women ruled the world. Women ruled the world. All deities, the sun, just like I had suspected, was a female presence before pre-Christianic times, before Indo-Europeans were rising. Now, it's funny because pagans and a lot of ancient civilizations or even tribes they worshipped a triple goddess. And this is how I stumbled upon this information. Now, I was looking up triple goddess for a specific reason that I won't share at this point. But the triple goddess was actually a pagan. Oh my gosh, ideal. It was pagans who worshiped the triple goddess. Now, the triple goddess, of course, they will say it's like Hecate, or, I think that would be like pagan type of deity. But the actual triple goddess, which they say would be maiden, mother, and crone, when I looked it up, it was actually very similar to the egg, the nest. I think it's the nest, the egg, and time. Okay? I know that they're always talking about, I shouldn't say they, but I know that there are ancient civilizations and cultures, even tribes to this day, that all believe in a universal cosmic egg. That's one of the aspects of the triple goddess. Creation, creatrix, right? The basket would be the nest. So the egg would be the mother. The basket, or I forgot. I think it's the basket, the egg, and then time. But don't quote me, because I might be a little off. But anyways, as I was doing my research, time would be everything within the realm of time. Everything that grows old and dies. That would be an aspect of the triple goddess, because time seems to be irrelevant outside of the 3D matrix. Okay? So basically there is no time. Which we would call ether, matter, which I find very, very deep. So when you look at the triple goddess, right, it talks about how pagans worshipped a triple goddess in the form of the maiden, mother, and crone. It was later that the triple goddess became a, how can I say, softer aspect or characteristics to the moon. So that's why you see Hecate now with the waning, I think it's like the waning crescent, or the rising crescent, the full moon, and the waning crescent, or something like that, right? So she has two crescents, the full moon and then the crescent on that side. Okay, got it. But before that, pagans actually worshipped the triple goddess, and she was the sun deity. It was during the process of solarization, okay? Solarization is an actual real process that once the patriarchy started uprising, they started masculizing all of the female sun goddesses that were being worshipped. Now they started flipping it in reverse. So the patriarchy is actually responsible for a lot of the reasons why we are so confused. Okay? Because they started flipping everything. They started flipping everything upside down mode. Okay, so this is how you have to start thinking. If everything right now has been created through the patriarchy, it's upside down, because the patriarchy were never the ones who wanted to live cohesively. They wanted dominance and control. And once you start to dominate and uprise as a society, you tend to delete or you tend to obsolete what was her story. Her story, okay? I'm getting a download as we speak in my right ear. Her story, okay, which is why they changed it to his story, because his story was the fact that women were the dominants on this earth. Okay, women were the first races of humanoids or human beings, if you want to say. It is Mother Earth, not Father Earth, okay? And if you go back into the Bible, which is what I always questioned, if Adam was created from earth, then it wouldn't be a male that was created. It would have been a female, because you can only replicate what you are. So, therefore, the female would have been the first person to be created, in which she was. It was never Adam. It was always a female. And there have been talks about what the first female is. It could have been Eve. It could have been Lilith. We're not getting into that right now. That's another story. All I'm saying is, as far as awakening, it goes way more than just remembering your soul. It goes to the point where you have to dig deep to remind yourself of who you are, to gather the pieces of you that have been lost and distorted from all the information that we've been bombarded with. This is how you activate pieces of you, and this is how you activate your higher self. There is times where assistance of activations are needed, and that's for a soul's purpose. I can't speak on that right now because that's not the topic of this story. Now, for other people who might be questioning as to where is she getting with all of this, where I'm getting at is a lot of us need to wake up. The reason why throughout Conjure Queen and here from the beginning is because she had made a video that pushed me, and not just me, but I have some soul sisters that pushed me as well to create this video in topic and in reference to the fact that I've been self-limiting myself. This is something I've always wanted to talk about, never had the real, push. I haven't had the push for it. But I'm feeling like I should have done this a long time ago. I'm going in and out through these conversations, but as long as you stick with me, I promise you guys will have a better understanding as to your soul's purpose, because that's where I'm at right now. As you guys can see, one of the things I stopped doing was mainstream media bullshit. I don't watch TV unless my soul directs me to see a movie and it's in reference to something pretty much I've been looking at, I've been researching, or just things that really capture my interest. So as far as references go, there are certain things that we could talk about. As far as movies, I'm a big cinephile. I love movies. Like, that's my thing, because my soul knows that there is so much truth within those movies, but they have to push the truth and mix it with lies so that you can't tell what is and what isn't. But the minute that you start to listen to your soul, she guides you, literally guides you to know what is real and what isn't. You have to trust in yourself and don't doubt yourself. Like, if you put down, let's say you feel like, okay, like for me, for instance, today was real simple. I'm doing work, excuse me. I'm doing work, and my soul put down a certain date or a certain zip code. It was a zip code, because I'm like typing away. I'm trying to do this file, and I put a certain zip code on there and erased it, and I went to go check, right, if that was right. Well, sure enough, I erased it for another zip code that I thought was right, but it was the first zip code that I had right, and I doubted myself. So I did 2 more extra steps instead of just listening to my soul, because she knows more than I do. And that was a waste of time. That's another thing. We waste our time and we limit ourselves with the time that we do have here, because we are limited. There is no such relevance as time, but in this 3D matrix, we don't have all the time in the world. We actually age, even though I ain't aging for nothing. Just playing. We age at a process that's faster than we ever have, due to the chemicals in the air, due to the chemicals being outside from all of the cars and all of, like chemicals from factories, chemicals and radiation being bombarded on us. And then we have genetically homogenized foods, GMO foods, everything has soy. Like, let's not keep it closed. Let's talk about it. We don't have all the time in the world. The more that you keep doubting yourself, the more you push yourself away from the actual time that you have or had available to you had you just listened to your internal self. Now, the people who run off of ego, that's people who run off of spirit. That's people who run off of their soul, because they have a higher type of capacity. Like, they are actually working from what I would feel their higher soul, their higher self, but it's a part of the brain that you're actually utilizing. And yes, it is the third eye. Yes, it's the first eye, actually. And it would be here and here, okay? Here is your crown. That's how you access source, and that's how source talks to you. And here would be where you're supposed to actually be thinking from. That's the reason why deities, or how could I say, that's the reason why the pine cone is so significant in symbology, in esoteric knowledge, because the pine cone is your pineal gland. And if you are able to think with your pineal gland, then you have opened the light to your soul, which means you have opened the access door to source, which means that instead of the ego running you, which I do this, because ego is very vain. It's about you, and it's about what people can do for you. It's not about what you can do for people, okay? That is your higher self. Your higher self, yes, it's about you, but it's about what you have to provide for the better of everyone around you, for whoever is within your reach, how far your light can shine upon the people that you come in contact with, that it sparks something within their soul. And that's real. So when I do this, that's the ego, because the ego is basically a mirror. It's a mirror, and it shows you, and it just wants to stay focused on the vain aspects of life. So, I'm getting hot just talking, and I think it's my energy. But I stopped the bullshit with the whole mainstream media. So I stopped cutting my hair, you guys. Like, my hair is long as shit. And I honestly feel like soul told me to stop cutting my hair. I haven't cut my hair in over 3 years. not one, not one haircut. And another thing is that we have to take really good care of our avatars, because our avatars, if we don't take care of them, they potentially block us from that divine connection that we are all seeking. Now, I don't put anything in my hair except for like coconut oil, which is why it looks like this, because my hair is curly, and coconut oil is natural. So I don't use products. Now, I take really good care of my hair. Even though I haven't gotten her cut, she doesn't need it. I've done the studies. Haircuts are actually, and I honestly feel very biased. I'm not even gonna bullshit, okay? I feel very biased because every time I have gone to the hair salon in the past and I had really long hair, I would tell them to cut a certain amount and they would triple that fucking amount. I'm sorry. So I don't go to shops anymore. And if I want to trim little stuff, I'll just do it on my own, even though I am so against trimming my hair. Now, the other thing is that your hair is your extension of your nervous system, you guys. So a lot of people don't understand that when you do start to play and manipulate the hair and put heat on your hair and dye your hair all of these crazy colors, and bleach is one of the worst things. You guys, if you would not drink bleach, you should not be bleaching your hair. If you would not drink dye, do not be putting that stuff in your hair. Think about it like that. Would I consume this internally if I'm going to put it externally? If that is a no, then you already know you shouldn't be doing it. Plain and simple. Because that is the one thing that people manage to do that they don't have any kind of doubts about, when reality is we should be really washing ourselves, making our own shampoos and conditioners, depending on like what type of hair you have. You know, like for curls and coils, you should be really keeping your locks moisturized, okay? And I call them locks because they're spirals of locks. You should be keeping them moisturized, which is why I pretty much only use coconut oil. So I was getting to a point, kind of lost it, but we're gonna backtrack, don't worry. So back to what I was saying, solarization, right? Solarization, literally, and it's SOLARISATION, solarization. When I looked that up, because I actually came upon something, it actually showed me that St. Augustine, or actually, I believe it was St. Augustine. St. Augustine, before he became Christian, he noticed that the pagans were worshiping a triple goddess in sun formation, okay? So he pretty much rebuked, I should say, the concept of a triple goddess because it was of a woman. Then Christianity came and plagiarized their whole conception of a triple, or what is it called? A triple god, or triplicity of gods, okay? The Christian faith pretty much plagiarized off of the pagan faith, or the pagan worship of a triple goddess. And because the patriarch was uprising at this point, they pretty much destroyed the concept of a triple goddess through pagan practices and worship of this triple goddess. and then inverted it into a triple God, which would be the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Which, here it comes. That's bullshit. Because all they did was take stuff from women and never give women the credence and credit that they deserved. And that's what the patriarchy did. When you go back and you start to look it up, you are going to see that this all stems from the worship of females that were deities, female war goddesses, female sun goddesses, female underworld goddesses. Women have always been the key, is what I want to really say. It has never been the masculine type of energy that we think is the key. It's always been a female. It's always been the divine feminine, because the divine feminine is actually the creator of all things. Source is an actual feminine energy. So the reason why they demonize and pretty much wreck the whole reputation of women is because everything is inverted. So what is up is down and what down is up. And basically they have destroyed the concept of divine femininity, so that no one would know that to get shit done, you have to invoke that divine feminine energy. They've been utilizing the divine feminine energy to promote and push certain agendas and whatever, what have you. But that's the reason why the number 13 is so demonized. I'm going to repeat it because that's exactly what it is. 13 is actually a divine feminine number. 12 is the divine masculine number. They don't utilize 12. It's always 13. But if everything is, if men rule the world, why are you guys still using 13? Because 13 is the creator. 13 is legit the divine feminine, which she creates. She is the creatrix. She is all and nothing. So when we go back to the actual teachings of this Father, Son, and Holy Ghost bullshit, you will learn to find out, or if you will seek, knowledge will come to you. You will see eventually that it all came back from a female sun goddess, triple sun goddess, a triple goddess, okay? Now, is it fair that we've been lied to? Absolutely not. But do we have a place in being complacent? Absolutely. Are you stopped from searching the truth? Absolutely not. And this is another reason as to me sharing this. There was one other instance where I actually stumbled upon some information and knew right away, this is information that is being talked about now through other people's platforms. So my whole thing is, tap into yourself and you will be put on this wave, okay? It's like a source wave of information. And I feel like I'm actually receiving the precognitive benefits of being so close to source. And I'm seeing this stuff in advance. I'm being pushed to, look for this stuff, or being pushed to navigate through certain types of topics, and boom, all of a sudden I'm right where I need to be because I'm reading it, and then it gets confirmed through someone else's platform, whoever it is I follow, whoever it is I watch. And all along, what kills me is that I could be talking about these topics that I initially read or I initially started researching way before these people who have, like, I don't know how many thousands of followers. So this is me doing that now. This is me saying, ride the wave with me, and we as a whole, as one, and as a whole, which is nothing, okay? We are one and nothing. That's what 9 and 0 is. All and nothing. That's why 9 is so sacred, okay? As a whole, as a collective, as an uprising of soulful beings, we can ride this wave together. We are beacons of information, and we just need to share it. Lastly, right, I'm just going to speak on it real quick. The last thing, and it's been a couple of things too, like I can't remember offhand, but these are the two that just happened within, like, I swear to you, like 24 to 46 hours. Or 24 to 48 hours, my bad. Like, legit, these two things have happened to me, and I've done this research a few weeks ago. That's the crazy part. So if I'm doing this research weeks in advance, I'm getting source codes, I'm getting downloads way in advance than other people are. Ride this wave with me. Share this time with me. Like, let me know what it is that source is giving you so that we can help each other. This is the last one. So I actually did this kind of like research. It was Soul. She just guides the shit out of me, and I just listen. So there are some times where I just don't know, there's something that I'm looking for, and I end up stumbling across something. Perfect. That's what I'd like to do anyways, because some of that information that you're looking for tends to lead you in the direction where you never thought you'd be in, which is your soul's guidance. Stepping out of the light and into the dark, which is having trust in yourself. So as I'm walking on this journey, my soul's like, okay, hey, we're going to be looking this up. And all of a sudden I end up with being on an article about the holes in the ears. Okay. Now, I don't remember what exactly I was looking at, so I know more or less that this was source. There's times where if people channel certain things, they don't remember what it is because it was a source. It was a source channeling. It was meant for that one particular reason, and it's gone. And I've done that before as well, so we'll get into that another topic. But this one, I forgot what the topic was. I was just looking, and boom, I stumbled upon this, I stumbled upon the fact that I was reading about holes in the ears and how they were extensions of gills, and how were they extensions of people's souls from being starseeds. Okay, so I think that's what it was. I was looking up something about starseeds, and I just so happened to get placed into this world of information about gills in the ears. And the funny thing is that I've actually have read that somewhere, but it stood out more this time than the last time. So I was like, that's really weird. Why am I reading this? But I read it. I mean, I had a blast. They were talking about like how, you know, certain fusions of body parts actually comes from like a starseed lineage. And I read all of this weeks. I'm not even playing, weeks ago. And one of the ladies that I follow on her platform, she legit just made this video like a couple of days ago about the holes in the ears. So why am I receiving this information at such a higher rate, or such a faster rate, I should say, when people who are in tune as well, in tune to their soul, are receiving it at a later time? So the only thing that I can pick up, and it's not me being rational, I mean irrational to the point where I'm putting myself higher than these people. I just feel like I have a more clear channel, and I honestly want to say that my connection to source has to be slightly higher, because, and very more clearly, because I am receiving these codes. I am receiving this information. I am being pushed and directed, okay, to navigate through all of this information for one topic. That doesn't happen just out of nowhere, because throughout the time that we're being navigated, or we feel like we're navigating to look for the answers, we get distracted. That's our human ability. We get distracted. But at the end of the day, how is it that I was able to find this information and seek it before these people actually made these videos? I don't have the dates, to be honest. This is something that, I mean, I really haven't been doing, like writing the dates down or anything like that. But, I do recall these actual sessions of myself where I'm just freely, looking about for answers within myself, for my soul self, for my ancient self, for myself that has been here over 13,000 years, for myself that needs to be remembered so that I could have memories to come back. So I'm actually putting this out because I want to invite you guys to listen to source. I want to invite you guys to share your topics that you've seen happen. What are the topics that actually stand out to you? They're all relevant, and if they arise and come up now, it's for a reason. That's another thing. It's for a purpose. Source wouldn't give us this information or pieces of information for no apparent reason. And it's not for her story or his story, okay? It's actually for purposes right now. It's for a reason and it's for a purpose right now. Source is guiding us, and we have to be able to listen in a more direct manner, in a more direct communication. We have to have this type of like fielding, okay? It's like a what's the word? It's like a two-way connection. It's like a fielding of my energy, and I'm fielding and connecting with source energy. This is why they don't want us tapping in to ourselves, because the minute that we do, we will have information that we can see beyond the stars. We can see what's happening in the actual space, okay, while we're here on Earth. And it's happened to me. I actually had, I don't want to say an out-of-body experience, but I had a glimpse of outer space. And I seen something in outer space. And I seen something twice. I even had a dream about the ergosphere, about what it looked like. That's where we remain, in the ergosphere. I even had a dream, and I don't know, maybe this is meant to be shared, which is why I'm sharing it now, but I had a dream that the ergosphere, and I seen it clear as day, that the Holy Ghost, from what they show in Christianity, the dove, is reminiscent to source energy hitting the ergosphere and frame dragging it, which is why it almost looks like a dove. Now, take that for how you will. right? Because that's how I took it. And pay attention to what signs, what like, not voices, I'm sorry, what signs, what pictures, what symbols, what words, even words will stand out to you, and start digging deeper. There is something to this, and the more people awaken to their souls, the more we want to remember. It is part of our journey. That's all I've been doing, is trying to remember. Don't get frustrated. Be at peace. When you're at peace and you have no fear, you can only fear itself. We become so heightened in awareness that we see things that we take for granted, signs in nature, things on the ground, shapes, even runes on the ground. Look everywhere. There is always source. Everywhere we look, we breathe in source, we breathe out. Okay? So if we breathe in source, source is always giving us clues and keys. We just have to be mindful to pay attention. Mindful, okay? Like soulful. Your mind is full of light. Your soul is full of light. Soul, S-O-L, not S-O-U-L, okay? And I have been saying this for such a long time. Soul, spark of light. Spark of light. Soul, okay? So you guys, it is a soul. S-O-L, not an S-O-U-L. That's just for my people who don't know the soul thing. I've been saying this for years. I always say it in references of spark of light. And I was actually right, because there is a lady who confirmed this as well. Firestar. And she has her own page. She has her own website. But these are other things that I've had a resonance with. When she wrote on there sparks or seed of life or spark of light, I believe it was spark of light. That's it. I knew it. I knew that I was right in certain aspects. That's the trust that you have to give yourself. And I'm starting to realize that these are actually occurring way faster for me. So when they start to arise, I want to be able to share them on a platform that I'm not judged. I'm not based in fear. It's not a fearful thing that I'm coming to you guys. It's out of love. It's out of oneness. It's out of wholeness, and a lot of